Hello and welcome to Choice and Chance Tabletop Role-Playing Games. My name is Chuck. The following video is opinion-based, meaning you will need to use your own critical thinking skills, think of your own anecdotal and personal evidence, as well as hopefully address your own preconceived notions and personal biases regarding the material in order to, properly interface with it. I myself obviously have my own preconceived notions and biases about the material, and you can check out my biases video if you want some context on that. Otherwise, I will say that if you're here to feed your confirmation bias or stoke your inner rage, more power to you. I just would, probably best to be open with yourself about the fact that you're doing that consciously, so you don't, slip into unhealthy habits with that on the internet. So what I'm here to talk about is why tabletop role-playing game systems don't matter for the quality of your game. This video largely comes from the widespread criticism of Dagger that I've seen. And I know it's not all criticism. I know that there's a lot of good stuff being said about the system. But I see a lot of these criticisms of all tabletop role-playing game systems, right? Not just Dagger, but it's the newest one. It's the one I was seeing the hot takes for. And I think that there's just like a fundamental misconception about what tabletop role-playing game systems are supposed to do. And I think that people are applying, criteria and, sort of mindsets from other consumer products and markets to tabletop role-playing games in a really non-productive way. And I want to talk about that a little bit. So Western American mindset, where I'm from, as an American, we have over the last 30 years as consumers largely lost the ability to adapt or alter products that we purchase. Anything from cars to, obviously any Apple product, household appliances and things like that. The consumer is not really incentivized, or in some cases even allowed at all, to improve the effectiveness of a product that they purchase or increase the longevity of a product that they purchase because of the profit-focused sort of American consumerist thing of buy a new one, bro. Don't fix that shit. And especially with entertainment products, people are, when you purchase an entertainment product, you expect it to entertain you. And tabletop role-playing games are entertainment products, but they don't entertain you right out of the box. And I think that's something that people just sort of want to say isn't true, or try and hold tabletop role-playing games to the same standard as video games. And we're going to talk about video games. I might as well talk about it now because it's very important for the reference to the conversation, because the video game market is huge. I'm from the video game generation, and there's this mindset in video games that the game can be broken. This is like when you play a game, there's a million different ways for it to be broken, right? It can be broken because there's a glitch or an exploit or, a balance issue. People love balance issues and they love going on about balance issues in whatever game. It can be broken because there's some sort of function the developers improperly, implemented, or some unintentional consequence of the way some systems were working together, and the game will you as the player can push the game to a point where it doesn't work the way it was intended and break it. And a lot of people, when I see their criticisms of Dagger or other tabletop role-playing games, are trying to apply the same kind of thinking, where they're trying to break it. They're like, oh, well, this text, or this system doesn't, or oh, I just don't get what this is trying to do. It's okay, your job when you're trying to run these games as a game master and a player, the thing that you need to do is make the system work. It requires the consumer to use problem-solving skills, social skills, their own judgments. You have to get the thing running in your own way. And people as consumers don't like this a lot of the time, but unfortunately it's the biggest strength of the medium. It's why Gygax gets misquoted a lot. But this, he has this famous one where it's wait till they figure out they don't need rules. Now, in my opinion, what he's really saying is wait until you figure out that no matter what I put in the book, they're still going to have to solve problems at the table themselves. He's really, he's kind of being he was kind of a troll Gygax, like he was kind of a troll as a game master and just like as an individual. And I truly, in like a nice way, like he was just like kind of, he liked getting people. But I think he has this, that quote to me says that, consumers are very likely to have misconceptions about the product he's providing. And they don't want to take responsibility for the nature of the creative exercise that is the tabletop role-playing game. And so they'll blame the system when a problem occurs at the table that the system either creates or doesn't resolve. It's just like, oh, this is a bad product. It's like, not how it works. It's not how it works. I guess that there's people who are going to disagree with me, but I want to talk, I've met a good amount of people at this point in my life who run games, not a crazy amount, but a good amount. And all kinds of systems. I mean, primarily Dungeons and Dragons, but I don't know a single person who plays raw. And I know some people are telling me that they're like, well, I play raw. I try and stay as faithful to the rules as I possibly can. I'm like, okay, that's not raw. It's not raw, because what you're saying when you're saying that is that situations arise in which you must make judgments no matter how hard you try to adhere to the rules. Because that's the nature of the experience. It's the nature of the product. This sort of way of thinking also leaks over into another, I think, rather damaging part of the tabletop role-playing game zeitgeist, which is that there needs to be a proper authority behind rule changes or situation resolutions. People think that game designers at Wizard of the Coast or whatever company have divine right and are truly smarter and superior than those who play and run the game, and that their opinions are to be taken as law. The things that they created in the rules of the game, to alter them would not only be bad for your game, but also morally wrong, because you're not a game designer. You don't have the authority. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing to change the rules and all this so and so. And you're damaging your player's experience to homebrew the rules. It's like, dude. I mean, I guess we can get into people wanting to worship employees at toy companies and like a different video, because it's like a thing. Like it's just like, dude, like they're game designers. They're good at their jobs. They make good products. They've got deadlines. They can't play test everything. Different people kind of conceptualize different situations in different ways. If you're a DM who's practicing their information presentation skills, you definitely are familiar with the fact that one player's interpretation of a description is oftentimes slightly, if not greatly, different than another player's interpretation of the same set of delivered information. And even in text written in these books, like, that is very easy for people to have different interpretations of the meaning. And of course, this leads to people who are grown adults playing the game, tweeting the dudes who made the rules, like, what does this actually mean? It's like, are you okay? Why are you tweeting the guy who made the rules? He probably doesn't even know why he made the rule. That you think he remembers the reason why he made every rule the way that he made it when he was writing the rules over the course of several years? Like, do you think, or is you just it's his authority given his job and position that gives him the right to dictate the ruling, which is, I think, the way that people think about it. But it's like, you got to make these decisions yourself. You see, the thing about tabletop role-playing games is when an issue occurs at the table, it's not a glitch, it's not a developer oversight, it's not a problem with the rules. It's a problem in the game that both the players and the DM have to work to resolve. It's a natural part of the experience, not a glitch. It's a feature. It's a feature to have problems occur. And people want to run this perfect, smooth game where everything is adjudicated properly by the authority of a third party that's not in the room. And it's like, that's not how D&D works. Not how it ever worked. And you're fooling yourselves. Another thing is about mechanical balance. I've talked about this before, but D20 systems, they have their flaws. D20 is a huge range, and there's tons of different people who will explain to you bounded accuracy, the problems with scalability. I mean, bounded accuracy basically just means that the D20 needs to be the most important part in any situation resolution, which means that character bonuses can only go so high, AC can only go so high, and you need to increase HP and damage to properly scale things. And we all know that this falls apart. In 5th edition, it falls apart around like 8th level, in my opinion. Some people say 10th, but I say, 7th or 8th level, it kind of falls apart. And in other game systems, it may fall apart sooner or later. Pathfinder 2e, I think, has better scaling. I think because they take a lot of power away from the D20 by giving players much higher static bonuses. These are different approaches to that, but like the math behind making a D&D encounter isn't that hard. But the CR system was fundamentally broken for like 8, however long. I mean, I'm sure somebody has like a hack for the CR system to work, but it's like everybody knew that the CR system was just a joke. It was garbage. It was unusable. It would produce completely unpredictable, stupid encounters. And that's not the fault of the CR system. It's the fault of the D20 and the nature of the design of the D20 game. Like, you're not going to be able to account for rolling low and rolling high. And sometimes something just rolls high, and now the fight's totally... I mean, like a good example is initiative, static initiative. Something wins initiative. You're now dealing with a totally different outcome than if it had lost initiative. And you can see how, these things, like, people want to believe that there's these deep layers of mathematical complexity, and you have to be some sort of math degree having genius to properly figure out how to mechanically balance encounters. And it's like, no, like it's pretty straightforward to figure out the average chance of something getting hit, the average chance of something hitting a player, and the average damage it's going to do. And with that information, you're good to go. I mean, there's some nuance to, dealing with the mechanics of special abilities and stuff, but none of that shit is supposed to be balanced at all. The fact that a Baylor explodes isn't balanced. It blows up. It's just part of the game. Like, it's not fair that a Baylor blows up. It's just what it does. It's just like... The video game mentality applied to tabletop role-playing game balance to me is also just a huge L. Because who wants to play a perfectly balanced level 5 combat encounter in D&D? It takes 2 hours, and the outcome is known. Like, the thing about video game balance that makes it work is when an encounter is balanced, the resolution is quick. Quick. It's fast. When you play Final Fantasy VII and you're in the right level in the zone, it's quick. You're getting through that combat. You're proceeding in the game. Whereas D&D, if you have a party of 4 people, you're level 5, you encounter a level 5 encounter, that shit takes 90 minutes. You only got 3 hours to play the game. You just spent 90 minutes in a situation where you knew the outcome the entire time. You see how that's not playing to the strength of the medium? You see how it's bad to play that way? Maybe I'm not making any sense. I've talked a lot. I won't ramble any further. The summation of my video is that you can't blame the system. Problems that occur in the table that are outside the rules provided are part of the game. And when you're choosing a system, you're really looking for something that fits the theme of the game you want to play, and you're looking for something that you and your players enjoy. Daggerheart's got a lot of cool little mechanics in it. I'm sure some tables would really like. And I think that a lot of the judgments about, the system not tying your shoes and getting you dressed in the morning and, making your family happy is largely unfounded and just silliness. So with that, I'd like to say, good luck in your games, and I'll see you again soon.